We are learning new details about the man who threw explosive devices at an immigration detention center in Tacoma, Washington. He was shot and killed by police. That man, identified as 69-year-old Willem Van Spronsen. Police say he was also holding a rifle when he threw those devices.
Read through the articles detailing and describing this event in Tacoma, Washington, and you'll come to the conclusion that there's something obviously absent in every mainstream article and broadcast news story. It's reported that a rifle-armed 69-year-old has been fatally shot by the police after throwing incendiary devices at an immigration center in Tacoma, Washington. And of course, this will be used to villainize rifles again. Officers were called to the privately run prison at around 4 a.m. where the man, identified in local media as Willem Van Spronsen of Vashon Island, had set a vehicle alight with explosives. He's also believed to have attempted to ignite a large propane tank outside the building. His target, the Tacoma Northwest Detention Center, has long served as a holding facility for migrants as they're about to be deported. More recently, it's also housed parents separated from their children at the border under Trump's zero-tolerance policy towards undocumented immigrants. The incident took place roughly 6 hours after a peaceful rally against deportations outside the center. Officers confirmed Van Spronsen was shot dead at the scene, with all 4 attending officers discharging their weapons. He was described locally as a committed anarchist and anti-fascist. Now, remember, anarchy is simply somebody who believes in no rulers. It is not chaos, blood in the street, or Molotov cocktails being hurled as cars are burning in the background. But this is the way mainstream media wants to portray anarchists. One friend of 20 years, Deb Bartley, told the Seattle Times that she and others had received letters from him which read, "Just saying goodbye," along with what she described as a manifesto. She added, "I think this was a suicide, but then he was able to kind of do it in a way that spoke to his political beliefs. I know he went down there knowing he was going to die." Van Spronsen is believed to have had previous run-ins with law enforcement at that detention center. In 2018, he was reportedly among 10 people to be taken in by police after occupying the perimeter of the site, with the then 68-year-old arrested on suspicion of third-degree assault for jumping on the back of an officer as he attempted to apprehend another activist. What's obviously and curiously absent in all the mainstream articles you read about this is that although he was a leftist with a clear agenda, nobody labeled him a radical leftist. If this was a Trump supporter in a MAGA hat, they would have already dug into his past and proclaimed with bold headlines, "Radical far-right activist bombs detention facility." They would have gone into detail about how watching YouTube videos and reading the sites of those who promote right-leaning conspiracy theories have confused yet another man and have incentivized his violent actions. It could easily be said in this case that leftist ideologies held by the likes of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her ilk had radicalized this guy to the left, and we need to make this front-page news for the sake of protecting our civilization. Remember, it wasn't too long ago, just last month in fact, that the New York Times ran this front page story by Kevin Roose entitled "The Making of a YouTube Radical: How the Site's Algorithms Played into the Hands of the Far Right." It talks about how a guy named Caleb Kane was radicalized by people who just so happened to speak out against the obvious radicalism of the left. But in this incident, for example, there's no mention of Ocasio-Cortez's inflaming rhetoric likening detention facilities to Nazi concentration camps. There's no word about how mainstream media personalities like Rachel Maddow, Chuck Todd, Don Lemon, or the Counterfeit News Network played a part in sparking radicalized tendencies in a man who ended up firebombing this Tacoma facility. And why is that? Because there's an obvious bias, an agenda that favors a certain ideology as it condemns another. This is just another example of the cancer of fake stream media. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.